Hi everyone, thanks for taking the time to stop by. This video is some nice footage. And wait till you see in the next video what we found. It was last week, sorry, by the moon. There was an object, celestial object, very close to the moon. Whether it was there skimming it or not, or just sitting in place, I got it. And we're going to look at this amazing video of the north side of the moon. And in the next few videos we will be seeing, I am also practicing for this summer, remaining in place, because when you're filming the moon, often people don't know, that don't have telescopes, the moon is forever rotating and moving. Uh-huh. How come? It's locked in place, right? No, it's not locked in place the way we think it is. It's locked in place by its core, I like to say, sort of magnetized as the core remains in the same area. But the planet itself, the moon, does have its own rotation. That's what I believe, because it's what I'm seeing. I never see the same angles of any structures that I ever see. Now look at here. Penny, this is Mare Serenitatis. You'll get to know it, trust me. The turtleback lying down the center with the two black marks on the left of it. Now look here, guys. Down to Tycho Crater. Look at the many thousands of feet that are cut out into the surface of the moon. Guys, this is a massive crevice hole. Look what we're looking at. Look at the levels here. Shafts, walls, barriers, whatever you want, that go up to Aristarchus crater, Mare Serenitatis, that go even back. I've seen a straight line all the way to Mare Crisium that go through. It looks like what it goes up and over and under several craters. Well, I fear the day the darkness rules over Earth once again. And if we're present, I mean, us as astronomers with telescopes, yeah, gathering light may become a problem. They need to invent telescopes that lasers send direct light to a crystal inside of the telescope. I mean, how can they not have thought of this already? With, instead of mirrors, crystals, a very reflective crystal with a certain special cut to reflect back the most reflection of light, to be able to get any constellation, dim planet, and to go get the light that we need by beaming that light directly to the planet. That would be amazing. And you know what? I bet you it was invented 1,000 years ago, because that's basically what I'm coming to understanding now, is that when I thought of ancient times before, I've always thought of something that was very primitive, something that people used to use their basic knowledge of understanding on how to gather food, to stay alive, to build homes, etc., to hunt. And in reality, no, it's something very spiritual, I believe, and something oh, there was a bird, something quite amazing, um, that was known back then. It's an ancient technology, which is the most advanced technology. It's incomprehensible for us because it's far too advanced. Going back in time, you would be advancing in technology. I think sometimes grounding a big telescope to Earth, and each satellite or each different planet has its own use. For example, one planet works on being the light for the telescope on Earth to beam out another light to go to whichever, depending on how far you want to go out, having these lights all through the universe to be able to get images back. So if we could go set up these lights and or towers on these planets far out, at least one, or find a way to plant a tower, that would be a challenge. Send a rocket and have that rocket or robot plant a tower. That would implant a barrier, a field of energy from that distance to here, divided by the barriers of the universe and walls, like finding out by sonar how big the universe is by sending sound waves, color waves, any wave or field or form of energy to be able to get back a wave back, no matter how long it takes, depending on how fast the ping would happen, I guess, to know how our universe is formed. You see, why am I saying this? Because I believe that this, me just thinking this, and I'm sorry, I have some idiot savant in me. I will often say word for word what someone else said without me having ever looked it up. I use a lot of common sense. I do not look up all the theories that I say in my head, but if you guys know that I'm just talking theory now anyway, so it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's so much that someone can do as communicating, as a communication device, as a telescope. And guys, you can't imagine what NASA can see out there in space. I'm finding, have you seen my video of Virgo, constellation Virgo? We are literally looking, okay, what you guys can see on Google Skywatch or whatever that name is, Google Sky, to see the universe and stars and constellations, which, by the way, I've only been once because somebody told me to go see if it was legit. It does look legit, but there are many things missing that are in the constellations. But go and look at my video of the constellation of Virgo. Look at the photo that I took of the constellation of Virgo 2 to 3 weeks ago. I got that with a 1,000 millimeter lens from the surface here of the Earth, sitting right on my pool deck with a tripod. So you could only imagine, only get, try to wrap your mind around what NASA can actually get in space, let alone the Vatican's telescope. Control. It's all about control. Why are they looking into space? And it astonishes me that people don't wonder that themselves. You know, why don't we wonder that? It just makes no sense. It was very, very windy. So I actually sat my telescope on a pillow at one point, taking much care of it, wrapping it up so that it won't shake. But that's all part of the game, I guess. But or all part of the work and research. Well worth the work and research because I got some nice footage of the north side of the moon. And I am testing my abilities, of course, to now try to make the best quality footage without shaking. It's always hard not to get a shaky footage because obviously the more you zoom in, the more the video is going to shake. So yeah, sorry, I got off a bit of my subject. So one planet has the lights to beam a major satellite on each planet, and one planet or satellite in the air is what magnifies everything. So between two planets on the outer limits of the universe, beaming their fields, that light or projection of magnification would magnify the entire universe. It's because we do things small here. A television set, imagine making a television set. Why am I thinking of this? I don't know, but why not? Why not have a television set the size of half the size of the moon? Why? Could you imagine looking at a close-up of a bug or of a crater on a television set that we'd need a helicopter to lift up on and to look at with a telescope, basically? Could you imagine the details we would see on that? It's coming to that, by the way, the cutting edge of technology now in cameras and filming, making movies, etc. The the bigger the screen is, the more quality and the better the detail and the better the image. And then there's always new techniques of applying light, etc. I am going to get a bigger monitor. I'm sorry I'm jumbling a lot of thoughts here. You're just in my head, guys, because this is what's going on in my head right now with the channel. There's so much that I want to do. I thank you all for taking the time to view my work, and there's only good stuff coming, and it's only going to get better. Thanks for the support, everyone. But I like thinking out of the box, and it's not so out of the box than that. It's just that it's out of the box compared to everyone else's thinking, most often, what I'm thinking. But guys, why am I even talking about these planets? Um, because maybe the planets, I'm trying to make you guys understand that maybe it has a use for one thing entirely. Maybe it was all created for one thing, man-made. Can you imagine? Maybe it was a man-made, manipulated natural process that was speeded up to be able to create a massive universe in, I don't know, a couple of thousand years as to a couple of millions or billions of years. You know, if we could set up all the planets, this is what I'm trying to say, is most definitely is why we are finding structures and towers. We find towers and monolithic objects. Yes, okay, some, maybe most are natural, but they are not all natural. And there's no reason anywhere or any way to find a perfectly symmetrical shape on an unknown asteroid that has no name, it's unknown and it's flying and spiraling through space and it's tiny. There's a use for them. Say, take for example, if the asteroid, we know ourselves the trajectory of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of objects and celestial objects in deep space and Messier objects, etc., deep space objects. Is it not possible to set up a satellite or a communication device or a camera, seriously, on an asteroid that has a trajectory around the sun that always comes back every so many, I don't know, months to take images? I mean, can you imagine us ourselves? The elite on Earth are everywhere without moving, whether it be cameras, and I tend to think it's far past the cameras. The people doing the work for them are using the cameras, but they are informed about everything. So could these planets not be a use of something else? And that, yes, we are living on them as beings, but the story of how we got here, why we got here, if there is even a reason for us getting here, or a known reason, it's just amazing thinking of all of this. By the way, I talked right over it, but we saw an authentic Mayan looking pyramid, stepping stone pyramid. I swear, it's at the bottom side of the moon when we pan down around 10 minutes, 9 minutes. Look at 9 minutes 30 on to 10 minutes 15, 10 minutes 05. You will see a pyramid, what looks like a very symmetrical, double or triple layered pyramid of stepping stones on the bottom side of the moon. When you go back and look at the footage, even myself, I find things that I haven't seen ever that pop up. You guys know I'm just throwing some ideas out there, but in reality, the most important is that we are finding some things on the surface of the moon. Mare Crisium, this is what we are looking at. The Sea of Crisis. We're looking at a lunar mare that's located in the moon's Crisium Basin, is what we're looking at in general. Just northeast of Mare Tranquillitatis. The basin is of the Pre-Imbrian period. So they say 4.55 to 3.85 billion years ago. I'm just repeating what history says. I'm not going to rewrite it. But I can add that the alien city that's atop it, the age may vary. Most definitely.